Good morning, everybody. It's your boy D Mac. I'm back. I got another topic to talk about. I want to talk about fanaticism, fans. I just see on a report where a little baby was attacked on stage by a fan, and I always misunderstand this terminology because how are you a fan if you're trying to bring harm to me or attack me? You're not a fan. So that wording in those titles being correct when they say that they're attacked by a fan. No, they're attacked by a delusional person who's caught up in whatever fabricated world they've created for themselves. This person obviously has some type of mental issues to feel like they have the right to jump up on stage and do something to somebody in any physical form, shape, or fashion. We remember when rest in peace, XXX Tentacion was attacked on stage. We saw that Dave Chappelle has been attacked on stage. I saw a report the other day where Roddy Rich was attacked on stage. Well, he kicked a fan, there go that word again, who jumped up on stage, and Roddy didn't know what the person was going to do, so he kicked him. And I said he has every right to defend himself because we don't know what these people jumping up there to do. And we know that we live in a time where people think that rap is real and they're trying to live the life that that their favorite rapper is singing about, but not living. And they get caught up in this world of make believe. And so now they running around and they feel like they have to defend this rapper because their ops is my ops. That's how they think. Whoever Lil Durk ops is, his fans believe that that's their ops too. So if they're to see this person, they're gonna try to jump them on behalf of Lil Durk, and vice versa. If some of Lil Durk's some of the rappers that Lil Durk is beefing with, if they people happen to see Durk somewhere, then they're going to try to embarrass Durk, humiliate him, do something on behalf of the celebrity that they represent for. And so we have these fanboys out here who are taking up the fights and the burdens of celebrities, whether they know them or not. And they have a whole thing going where they're willing to kill, murder a whole entire another person on behalf of a problem that another man have with another man. I never understood that. I've never co-signed that type of behavior or even that type of thought. That is the dumbest thing in the world to me. I would never be fighting against somebody over somebody else's burden or somebody else's issue. That's just not manly to me. I don't think that that's something that men do. A man should be able to defend himself. And if he's not able to, then you should defend the weak, but that's only if somebody is trying to attack them. But for you to go and, begin a whole argument and start to break people down over a celebrity's issue, I just leave that alone. I don't have no parts in that. I don't interject myself into it. I don't acknowledge it or entertain it. Man, that's just some unnecessary wasted time to me. But you have people out here who do this on a regular basis. They have pages, they have podcasts that are centered around taking on other people's plights and arguing about them and making them their own. One in particular is Clubhouse. They've built their whole entire existence and their notoriety off of this, arguing about other people's issues, arguing about what this man said or what that man said. That is all idle chatter, man. And, when you get into mundane speaking like that, mundane conversation that absolutely doesn't edify anything or build anything up, we go right back to what I was talking about in my last video that I did. You ain't doing nothing but speaking curses on people. And so you're willing to be out here openly cursing people with the wishes that you place on them and stuff like that. But then you turn around and be like, God bless me, while you steady cursing people. And so I see the wedge that's being placed between fans and artists. These artists do have to protect themselves, because I remember when the whole East Coast, West Coast thing was going on. Look, Biggie Smalls and Tupac Shakur were the figureheads for that, but they was just figureheads and that's it. The real beef was fueled by those that was behind them, all of the ones who had something to say in the club, all of the friends that's in the gangs and stuff like that, who saw it as an opportunity to boost up their reputation. All of these factors played into that Tupac and Biggie beef that ultimately led to their death, because they spoke curses on each other. And these fans got into it. Well, when we see Tupac, if Tupac come to New York, then on behalf of Biggie, we gonna do this to him, and that's what they did. And same thing when Biggie came to L.A. Oh, well, Biggie come to L.A., then we on behalf of Tupac, we gonna do this to him. And you have these fanatics who have went acted out because they don't know how to separate reality from music. They don't know how to separate the art form from life. And so you have these artists nowadays, whenever fans come up on them, they can't show love like artists used to, because they don't know if that person is trying to get famous off of sucker punching them and knocking them out cold. We don't know if that person is trying to gain clout off of you by showing that they chumped you in public. There's all types of different opportunists out here, to where these artists have to be very careful about how they engage with the crowds. Yeah, you may have a lot of love out there and you may have a lot of fans, but also know that you have somebody that is against you, because they are a fan of somebody who you consider your opposition or your op. So when these rappers have beefs, they don't understand that is just not their beef. They have a whole fan base that is now taking on that burden and taking on that beef right along with them. And this is a very dangerous place to be, because now you're releasing these mentally unstable people out into the public. And if they were to see this star somewhere, then they're gonna run up on them. See how this is all meant to destroy, how this is all meant for the destruction of a people, and they pay y'all well to destroy your own people, so you can't say nothing. So your sense of guilt is going to keep your hands tied and keep you quiet about it, because you're the one that's creating the music and the spirit behind it that fuels the people to go out and do these things. See how they play that game? That game is so smooth. It's so slick. It's so subtle. It's so sly. It's never going to be something big and forceful and aggressive in your face. That's not how the enemy works. The enemy works in subtlety. Stated it in the word in the very beginning, that the serpent was the most subtle beast or creature in the garden. So you ask the question, well, why was he in the garden? Well, because he had a right to be. Although he was in a fallen state, he was still able to move forth, because he had something to do. He had a job and he had a mandate and orders over him. There's nothing that doesn't fall subject to the word of the Most High. Everything falls subject to it. And we oftentimes will try to make things bigger than him, but there's nothing that we can even create in our minds that would even touch the vastness and the greatness of the Most High. So when we understand that, then we're able to rightly divide the mentality of these people. I like to use that word, rightly divide. That's my new thing, because I'm being really big on understanding what is being said and what is being taught. You know, there's a whole lot of confusion that has been stirred up by doctrine that's been put out by people who are held in a high regard. And now it's going to bring about a lot of questions throughout the Christian community, as well as the secular community, who has always questioned a lot of the church's teachings. And for someone uh, to say that they were teaching in error now opens up a doorway for those accusers of the brethren to come in and be like, aha, I told you so. I got you. This is their I got you moment. This is what they think. And so we have to be very careful about our understanding of what is being said, what is being communicated. And a lot of these fans who have these mental issues go on these social media sites and they read every single post by their favorite artist, and they read every single post in opposition, and they're the ones who be threatening to pull up, and they're the ones who try to get personal and talk about your family, and they'll go on your actual profiles on other things to try to garner information about you so that they can come back and hit you with something personal. These are the links that these people are willing to go to defend the person that they admire. Now, if you look at a fan, what does fan mean? What does being a fan mean? It means being an admirer of someone, an extreme admirer, an intense admirer. That means that I appreciate or respect something about you to the level of fanaticism, to the level of giving you honor and all of these things because of your ability. And so we have to make sure that people are able to understand that this person has a persona that they're projecting, and that may not even be how that person is in real life. This is why oftentimes whenever people meet their favorite star, meet their idol, they are disappointed because that person is not being caught in that persona at that given time. You may catch a star right after something traumatic happened in their life, and they're not in character, they're not in that persona that they always show to the world whenever they're promoting movies and on interviews and things like that. And when you catch them on TMZ, you never catch them in, sometimes you don't catch them in that good light. And you may catch a person when they're out of character, and then your whole world is shattered and you don't like that person from that point on because that fantasy has been destroyed. See, that's another word that we have to uh, be able to associate with fans and fanaticism is fantasy. These people are caught up in a fantasy world, and they're out here acting based off of, they're acting out against other people based off of a fantasy that they've created, and that the social media and media alike has created for them in their minds, and they've gravitated towards it and adapted this fantasy, and they're beginning to act it out in real life. And so that's why you're not going to find me out here arguing another man's argument. I may argue you on a point, I may debate on a point, but I'll never argue somebody else's argument. I'll never take on somebody else's burden that can defend themselves. You know, that's just not what we do. I only defend the defenseless. That's my mandate. That's what I was told to do. So that's what I do. But what's to be done about these fans that keep jumping on stage thinking that they have the right to put their hands on these entertainers? What should be done about that? Do you have to have um, guards standing on stage? Do you have to have bodyguards making a wall in front of the artist? Do you have to put up some type of barrier besides the barriers there between the artists and the people? People are losing control. They don't know how to conduct themselves in the public setting. They don't know how to go out and enjoy a concert without losing their mind, without losing their sense of rationality. Do they get that hyped up because of the music and the vibe and the way that their chakra is being stimulated in that setting that they cannot control their thoughts and their behavior? We have to screen these things. You look at what took place with Travis Scott and his concert. This dude is in all of this trouble because people could not control their behavior. They got so irrational and so out of their head because of some music that was stimulating them and taking them into this zone. I don't know how much drugs was involved in that and helping to motivate it or contributed to that factor. But this man is sitting here going to court, being canceled, not being able to do music and all of this because people couldn't control themselves, because fans lost their minds. Their minds are so weak that they could not control their body's actions because they were so lost in the music. This is becoming a problem, a very big problem. And it's went from situations like that where people are getting trampled and people are getting smushed to now these people feel like they have a right to jump up on stage. And then when these artists bust them in their face or kick them in their chest, they want to try to sue them for every piece of money that they went out and earned through the music that they created, and try to come out here and do a show to entertain these people with. You feel like you have a right to that money because you lost control of yourself, couldn't control yourself in that environment, and you chose to jump up and put that person in danger and yourself in danger. But you want to sue for harm done. You want to sue because you are out of line. We doing everything all backwards in this country right now. Everything is backwards. And people are looking at it and they'll say something like, well, Travis Scott was casting spells and Travis Scott had these people under a trance. How weak-minded are you to allow somebody to put you under a trance with music? Come on. Yeah, if you're a child and you don't have any understanding, then yeah, I can see that. But these are grown adults at these concerts. Little kids are not making money to be able to pay no 60 and whatever $100 or what, however much it is for Travis Scott tickets. That one dude whose son got killed, and rest in peace to his child, his daddy paid for those tickets and brought his 9-year-old son to a Travis Scott concert where Travis Scott talked about drugs and alcohol and sex and all the things that a 9-year-old don't need to hear. But then nobody want to talk about that. So you think about the mind state that these people are in, who are coming to feed that toxic vibe within them, and to get fuel and to get hyped up, and then they add the drugs and the alcohol to it, and now they're in a place where they're not even rational. We see in the rock and roll, the grunge or the metal shows, the mosh pits, how they slam dance and do all of that stuff and bang into each other and slam each other. All of this is irrational. This is going past the point of rationality and just doing whatever. And this is with a lot of fans all the way across the board now. This energy is wrong. This energy is bad for the entertainment business. It's bad for the consumers who paid their money to come out and enjoy a good show. I'm telling you, I'm going to be pissed if I pay a lot of good money to go see a concert and that concert gets shut down because people don't know how to act and they don't know how to contain themselves in a public setting. That's no excuse for nothing. I'm not accepting it. It's unacceptable. And we've accepted all of these unacceptable things for so long that people feel justified in doing them and feel like they should always get a pass. But no, we got to put a foot down. This is unacceptable. If we expect these people to give us a good show and to have a free and clear mind to be able to do their best in their performance, then these venue owners and these security and whoever else need to make sure that they got these people in check, because they are sick in the brain and they are not being diagnosed, and they just out here running around in the world able to interact and intermingle with everybody else until that trigger happens and something sends them off the deep end and their true health issues are revealed, and it's too late, because now somebody has paying through either loss of life or loss of limb or some type of injury, and now this person is in jail to where they're not being rehabilitated, they're only being indoctrinated with other bad behaviors. And these are the fans that we deal with. It's so hard to love your fans and show love for your fans when you have these opportunists that are trying to get famous off of doing something to you. Eric Holder, the only reason that people know Eric Holder's name is because he shot Nipsey Hussle. If anybody else outside of Nipsey who had no recognition to his name or no reputation would have said it, would he have felt compelled to go and do that same thing? Because he stated it was about his reputation. He felt like Nipsey garnished his reputation whenever he called him a rat. That's the word that was out there. That is the general consensus of why Eric Holder did what he did. He was concerned about a reputation. And so, we have to look at what's fueling a lot of these murders in hip hop. We have to look at what's causing a lot of this animosity. Well, when you're on demon time, demon activities are going to take place. So when you're conjuring up demon energy and when you're conjuring up all of this bad energy, then don't expect to have a kumbaya situation come out of it. That's not logic. That's not what we go by as men. We go by logic and facts. And the information points to this. Whenever you have a place that is filled with people who are channeling the same type of destructive energy, destruction is going to take place. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. That's come on. Well, I ain't gonna say it's common sense, but this is something that is widely known across all of the globe. And so we're going to see more entertainers being attacked by fans. Uh, we're going to see more of a separation between those interactions with fans and entertainers, for the simple fact that people do not know how to control themselves. So let's get a grip on ourselves. These entertainers are people just like everybody else. They value their health and they value their life just like everybody else. Just because you pay to listen to their music and you pay to see them perform a song that you like and you done got wrapped up in, and you think that this is part of your life, that don't give you no right to try to put your hands on them. It don't give you no right to try to jump up on stage and get your 5 minutes of shine. None of that. You ain't paid for the right to do none of that. The only thing you paid for was the right to hear their music. That's it. So continue to let them use you. Continue to be that consumer that you are, and be okay with being a consumer. You're not going to become their best friend by this chance meeting that you done made up in your mind. And this is what these fanatics think. This is the same mentality as the stalkers who are out here trying to kill these females that they've become obsessed with. Obsession is real. And it's not just a male on female thing, it's a female on male thing too. What was the football player? Steve McNair was killed by I'll say his girlfriend. I won't disparage her by giving her a negative title, but it was a female that he was having a relationship with uh, outside of his primary relationship. And, you know, him being who he was and whatever the situation may be, she took his life because she couldn't bear the thought of not being with him or him not being in her life. This goes beyond that relationship. These stalkers have built up this type of relationship with these stars in their mind, and they become delusional and think that that person has some type of commitment or attachment to them to where they have the justification to go and do something. You broke my heart. I don't even know you. Well, that role you played on Empire, that made me mad because I like Terrence Howard. These things really occur in the minds of people, and they go out and act on these things on a regular basis and will attack somebody. So just know that this is happening. And whenever you see stars defend themselves against these people jumping up on stage, always hold your judgment. Hold your judgment to see what the whole story is, because a lot of these people really are undiagnosed people who are suffering from mental illness. This is your boy D Mac, man. That's all I wanted to come on and talk about. I'm about to go in here and start getting myself ready to go and commune and fellowship with my brethren. So, y'all have a blessed day, man. Go out and be great. Do some great things. Y'all know what I say. Sticks and stones can break your bones, but the word can always heal you. I'm out.